and welcome to Saving People Queering Things, the supernatural podcast where the baby in a trench coat starts his villain arc while the male model type looks on in horror. Today, we are pulling up to Season 6, Episode 22, The Man Who Knew Too Much. I am your host, Elena, and my pronouns are she, they.
I'm Sam. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm August. Pronouns they, them.
And I'm Noah. Pronouns he, him.
End of Season 6. Woo.
Yay, we made it!
Oh my gosh.
It's a finale!
Finale.
Which some would refer to as the episode right after the penultimate episode. So,
Or the ultimate episode.
ooh. I think we make this joke every year.
Every year. Every year we make, every season, not even just every year, every season. It's more than once
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah, true. Still
Better than
hits.
Christmas. So I do have a question. I'm just trying to think of how to word it, so give me a second. Okay. And today, my question of the day for my co-host is, if you had a chance to face off in your mind with one of your past selves,
Oh my God.
who would it
Oh my
be?
God. This is a great question.
Just like you from like a specific time in your life, you could like face off and have a therapy session with yourself, because that's what Sam probably should have done. Let's be honest.
Right,
Yeah,
not just
I
like a
mean-
cage match.
Yeah,
Fighting
not a cage
up.
match.
Like,
let's-
are we talking
therapy.
like the one I want to beat up or the one I
Yeah.
want to have a
I mean,
conversation
Right.
you
with?
can
Those are two
Are we
different
talking-
versions.
Yeah, have
Run
a
with
therapy
this
session or
prompt.
fight.
however you would
Okay,
like.
maybe since Sam fights two different versions of himself, I think we can have both. Which one would you want to fight the most, and which one would you want to talk to
Ooh,
the
okay.
most?
What if they're the same one?
Okay.
Like,
That's
we're gonna
even
talk
more
and then I'm gonna
compelling.
beat you the fuck up. Actually.
No, I think beating up comes first.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna beat some sense into you, and then we're gonna talk.
So
Right,
you
about
will
why.
actually listen to this. Like, now you're
famously
not.
a good strategy. We're getting people to listen to you.
If they can't run
So
away
thrilled with
anymore,
where you took this from.
I would have to beat the crap out of like 14-year-old Noah, because he was such a dick and didn't know what he was about, and was just trying
I
to figure
remember
that all out.
14-year-old Noah. That was like right around when I think I met you.
Oh, he was such a dick, right?
Aw. I don't remember you being a dick, but also like you were just like at that point you were just my friend's like younger punk ass brother. So like
Yeah, okay, punk ass.
know.
Thank you. Yeah. So
yeah.
so I think it was that summer that I like had a whole self-realization thing, and I was like, oh, hey, this isn't helping people like me or want to be friends with me. Like, what if I'm just like me and not like the person I feel like impresses people the most? And so then I was like nicer and was actually
You didn't
helpful.
need someone to beat you up to learn that lesson though, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I had some people not physically beat me up, but verbally, and so like that helped a little bit. So that's the version of me I hate the most, so I would go back and kick the shit out of him, so that's fine.
Nice.
The one I would talk to though was whenever I moved back down here to Texas, right at like age 19, and I would be like, hey, before you jump into a relationship with anyone, ask how they feel about the shape of the globe.
It all comes back to the flat earther.
It all does.
No,
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 it was an accident.
No.
You know, were you not
sweetie.
here the last time we had this
Oh.
conversation, Elena?
no,
Oh my
I
God,
was
that's
not.
hilarious.
Okay, it was an accident. I thought that it was a joke at first because I was
It's
making
really
a joke,
fair.
and they were like, haha, no, but like, yeah, it is. And I was like, haha, yeah. And then like 3 months later, they were like, yeah, no, I mean, like, but it is true. Like, it's a fact. And I was saying,
You were like, wait, back up.
We weren't joking.
that wasn't, I thought
What?
this was, okay, cool.
This is not funny, haha, anymore.
No. Side note, it's the same ex that didn't like my Gollum voice in the shower. So, you know,
It's
it was already red
suspicious.
flags galore.
Suspicious.
Mhm.
Suspicious.
I think I would go back and just knock all of the energy drinks out of my hand in college, because it probably gave me a heart condition.
Oh, no.
Just be like, sweetie, it's not good to have 3 of these and a coffee and 2 sodas in a 24-hour span.
Without
So you can
breakfast.
finish
Like,
this term paper.
Like,
The term paper will
they're
not
like,
be
love
important.
yourself a little, love yourself and your body a little bit. Like,
Yes,
Oh,
like
God.
please just
Please.
hydrate
have some
and go
water. Drink some
Yeah.
water.
drink some water. Like I saw a TikTok recently that was like quote unquote making fun of like Gen Z for like carrying around these gigantic ass water bottles, and I was like, no, these children are hydrated, and I love that for them. Shut up and leave them alone.
Yeah, this
Like,
was
I wish
they're
I
doing
was
better
this
than we did.
Yeah, you're like, that wasn't
That was not us.
before we carried around not water, and it was so much worse. At least we're now carrying around water.
But yeah, I would do that. And then in terms of niceness, I would totally just go back to my high school self and hug them and be like, I'm so sorry that everyone here is like awful. Not everyone, but a lot of people were awful. And then that made me be awful to me. And that is the worst part of it. And so I would like be like, hey, listen, you're a cool little dork and you're going to grow up to be a cool older dork. So chill out.
Hell yeah.
That would be
Adorable.
Okay. I actually changed my mind. It's not the same.
Ooh.
I thought it was the same, but it's not. It's like slightly old. The past version of myself I would like to get into a fight with and talk some sense into is like 20-year-old Sam, who was very deep in the church, engaged. Was I engaged or was I married? No.
You were engaged at that point.
And was just this conservative, homophobic ass.
Ooh.
You were not that much of an ass. You were conservative and homophobic, but you were not that much of an ass.
Getting some background.
Like,
yeah.
You know, I don't know. As someone who knew you well during that time, you were trying your best.
Okay. Thank you. Maybe not an ass.
Listen, that internalized
You know, and like even the
was a
homophobia
bitch.
part was internalized stuff.
Yeah. Some real bad
Beliefs.
views.
That's fair.
Bad theology.
Yeah.
And then I think the one that I would like to talk to and just like give a hug to is like 24-year-old. I don't know the timeline. Sam, who it was like mid-divorce and like going through it. I would love to just give them a hug and be like, you're going to love your life in like a year.
Be like, just
It's
hang
gonna
on.
be great.
Just hang on. It's
Make
gonna
it through
get
this
better.
It's gonna be
It blows
okay.
my mind that you're younger than me and have had a divorce. Like what?
I don't know if you want that.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not a
would
compliment.
Would really not.
Sam would recommend
I'm
this.
sorry.
But like it means you get to spend the rest of your life in your hot divorcee era. Like
True. It is wild when I casually mention my ex-husband and people are like,
Especially since you look potentially even
Well,
younger than you actually are. Like you already look young for your actual age.
Yeah.
exactly. And I'm like, I'm 27. I'm not that old.
No.
But I look younger. I look like
you
I'm
look
in
like
my
you're
early
21.
20s. Yeah. People are like, excuse
People
me,
were like,
what?
they were like, when were you married? And you're like, young, but you're like, not as young as you might guess.
I wasn't a child bride. I was
As
was
close
young.
as you can get without being a
But you
child.
were
Yeah, I
just over the
less
legal
than
drinking
adult.
age in America. Just
Yeah, like
Okay,
2 months.
if you want to look older, grow a mustache. That
that.
works.
just get like a
100%
fake
of the
Nick
time.
Offerman.
Work on that.
It'll be great.
Okay, August, you got this.
I think that I would talk to like my 16-year-old self and be like, "Hey, don't tell your family that you're gay. Just don't bother. It's not worth. They're not going to take
They
it
won't
well.
believe
Just
you.
don't tell them at this point. And also, like, yes, you are in love with your best friend. Stop pretending you're just real good
Yeah.
pals.
Shout out Hannah Beth.
No,
Different
different
best
best
friend.
friend.
Okay.
Pre-
Different
this is
one.
pre Hannah Beth. This is pre Hannah Beth.
I'm sorry. I'm just used to everybody who meets Hannah Beth falling in love with them at some
I mean,
point.
that's fair. That's fair. But that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about like my
High
like
school.
first real like.
Okay.
Wow.
Middle
I was very
school,
much in
maybe
love with that
even.
person. No, it's definitely high school, but it was like early on in high school. I was probably, yeah. Anyway.
I had my one of those in college where it took me till years later to be like, oh fuck, I was really in love with her, huh?
yeah, I didn't fully realize it until I was much, much, much older. And the one I would beat the shit out of is I'd be like, it would be me going to my, I don't know, 19-year-old self and being like, don't go to Bible college, bam, just bop them on the head and be like, don't do it, don't waste 4 years of your life and a lot of money on
Yourself
that.
enough.
Don't do it. Just go to university like you were starting to, and then dropped out and then went to Bible college. Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
You're gonna get a useless degree that no one's gonna accept because it's Bible college.
And then you're gonna start over at 25. Don't do it.
So this
Listen,
has been
it gave you
our
extensive knowledge of the lore used to create the CW series Supernatural. So
and that's the major benefit.
Yeah.
This has been Therapy Corner with the Queering Things crew.
You've just learned a whole bunch of our background lore.
Yeah,
In
really.
case you wanted to know that.
yeah, in case anybody needed details for their fan fiction, there you go.
I think
Good Lord.
the real answer here, though, is we all go one person to the left and like talk to that person. We get to beat up our own person because that's the
Right.
satisfying therapy part of it. But like, I know at a certain age, I wouldn't have taken that kind of like,
From
hey,
yourself.
here's some advice,
Yeah.
and I'm
Oh,
future you.
absolutely
I'm like,
not. I
fuck
wouldn't have listened
off.
to me.
Look
I
at
wouldn't
you,
have listened.
motherfucker. Who grows a mustache and gets
Also,
that many
yeah,
tattoos. Like,
not a chance I would have listened to. I would have listened
like,
to
your name is
queer agnostic, trans.
Oh, that's true. I would have been real
public
mad.
school teacher. Like, there's no way I'd listen to
Right.
myself.
But if
Not a chance.
somebody showed up and was like, hey, I know the future version of you, and they turn out fantastic. So like, I need you to listen to these pieces of advice. Like, trust me,
Maybe.
and like throw out some little tidbits of information. Like, I know
Maybe.
you love this, and I know you love this, and like,
True.
I know you. You know, I think that would have more impact.
Love
True.
that.
That's a good
It's
point.
true.
I love that too.
Good question.
If anyone
Super-
invents time travel, this is the plan.
Hit us up. If you want to prove it, show up.
Wait, if it's time travel, I'm going so many other places first.
Fair.
So fair.
That's
Okay,
fair.
wait.
That's fair.
Where are you going? Future or past?
Have you met me?
Yeah, okay, we're going to future. Okay. Go.
Like, probably I'm not going very far in the future because climate change will have wiped us all out. But you know, I
Well,
want to see how long we got.
It depends
love
on
to
if
find
we've got
out.
a time and space machine. Because if we've got and space, I'm going as far
Oh, then
future as I
I'm-
possibly can.
Yeah, then I'm just going and as far distance as I possibly can.
Yep.
We're just
Yeah, Pluto sounds nice this time of year. Like, get me out of here.
Heard about Pluto? It's messed up, right?
yeah, it is.
What about-
Sorry,
wait,
that was my psych reference for
about
the
Pluto?
episode. I had to
Oh.
do
It's
it.
messed up.
I had to.
it
Thank
was
you.
like, did
Thank you,
something
August.
new happen to Pluto and I'm not in the know?
One of my elementary school kids explained to me that Pluto wasn't a planet a couple months ago, and I
Aw.
was like, child,
Thank you.
this is really funny.
Back in my day.
I was there. When I learned the planet song, Pluto was one of them. They were very serious about it. They
Yeah,
were like,
like-
Pluto's Pluto's not a planet. And I
Like,
was
without
yeah, I do know. They
Pluto,
were like,
then,
it's a
like-
dwarf planet. And I was like, you are correct.
Right.
When I was a kid,
They changed that.
Without Pluto, there's no, like, the mom is not serving anybody pizzas, and that's just no fun.
what?
Yeah. Okay. Now, see, that's part of the thing is that everybody has a different saying there. So it's like,
Really? What was it? Was
Honestly-
No idea what you're talking about.
so everybody's
it
got
was
like a different
one of those
mantra
stupid
to help them like
was it-
remember like my very
mnemonic
angry-
device. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
mnemonic device.
mnemonic device.
Oh.
And the one that they taught
I
me
had a
in
song.
school
Okay.
was-
Yeah, we had a song.
I listen to it now and I'm like, wow, this is really misogynistic. But you know what, whatever.
So let's put it on our Queering Things podcast. Let's do it.
It was my very eager mother just served us 9 pizzas.
Oh.
It's horrifying.
Oh boy. Oh
My
boy.
God.
Yep.
I do not. No.
Anyway, that part's probably good.
Yeah.
We had a song to know the names of the planets, and to this day I still use it. I just like stop before I get to the Pluto part.
Oh, that'd be
That's so
nice.
sad.
Which is sad. Actually, I don't stop before I get to the Pluto
Just
part.
cut
But
the song.
I don't use it with children because it's not helpful because I would not be able to leave out Pluto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as long you could include Pluto as long as you include those other 2 planets, dwarf planets or whatever.
I'm not gonna learn their names. Too late. for
Okay.
that.
What? Okay.
I didn't learn them as a child, so it's not embedded in my brain. You know how hard it is to learn and memorize random shit as an adult?
Fake space fan.
No.
Ooh.
You are not allowed. No. You cannot make memorizing things contingent on my fan behavior.
No.
Have you seen me as a person?
What's your Twitter handle? I'm just curious.
Astral Spock? Ken.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, August is space. Like,
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
sorry. You're not gonna win
No,
this one.
I know. I'm just making
Yeah.
fun of you because you lack the appreciation for our solar system. And as somebody whose Instagram handle is Spock Rocks, I'm
True.
well within
It's
my
true.
rights.
You are. Do you know both those planets' names off by heart?
Now, see, I don't know if you noticed, but whenever I said those other 2 planets, I
if you
could have
didn't
thrown out their
immediately-
names.
If you didn't immediately just come out and answer that with their name, I'm sorry. No. Lost all
You
clout.
have no
Covered it.
leg to stand on.
I know. Okay, obviously, what the fuck? There's 5.
Oh,
There's
my.
5.
I didn't even know the numbers.
This
of
whole
them.
bit is
meanwhile, I am
cut.
today years old learning that there are any additional planets.
Really?
Yeah, me
There's the
too.
other
I was
little
like, I don't
dwarf
know what
planets.
you're
I'm pretty sure
talking about.
Ceres and Eris were the 2 I was referring to. But now we've got Haumea and Makemake.
Wow.
Okay.
We
Right,
should
then.
talk about
This has
this
been therapy
supernatural
and
episode.
planetary education. Back to the supernatural episode.
Now that you've met your host for today, it is time to catch you up. If you haven't watched Supernatural recently, here's what you've missed on the road so far. First up, Noah is going to recap the show up to this point. How you feeling, friend?
Oh, fantastic.
Whenever you're ready, I'll count you in.
I'm ready.
Alrighty. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Sam and Dean, the two brothers, who they've been raised to fight demons and monsters their whole life by their shitbag father, and they move on and they have their best father, who's Bobby, and then they are having to deal with Sam being trapped in hell and then coming back without his soul, and then they fight to get his soul back because they put up a wall, which is very important for this episode because Death himself puts up this wall to protect Sam from the bad memories of living in hell and being tortured by Lucifer and Michael. And then stuff is up with Cass, and he's being really suspicious this whole time, and Dean, who's in love with Cass, is trying to reconcile those feelings.
I love how we skipped like 4 seasons.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah, you got to the important stuff.
The apocalypse isn't that important right here, right now.
Okay.
That was a great recap. And then they have a better dad who's Bobby.
Yeah, best dad, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
No, yeah, he's better, but he's the best for them.
He is the best.
Oh,
I believe, Sam, it is now your turn to recap us on the episode. Are you ready?
As ready as I ever will be.
All right.
My favorite part.
3, 2, 1. Take it away.
Okay, so we are in Sam's brain dream. He's dreaming. The wall has come down in his head, and things are in chaos in his brain. He's having to fight himself. And meanwhile, Bobby and Dean are trying to figure out where Cass is, and Cass is trying to open purgatory. And then at the very end, he becomes God? Question mark?
ooh,
Nice.
brought it all around right in the nick of time. That was good.
I like the ending on a question mark because, yeah.
Very much how this episode ends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Hold on, sorry. Wow. Yawned like right in the middle of that word.
powerful.
And now it is time for us to pick some music to accompany us on our journey. Here's what we have picked for this week's episode mixtape. Sam, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, I picked Haunting by Halsey.
Good song.
I don't know. I like the beat of this song. It's kind of like a spooky feeling, and the lyrics are just feel very fitting. There's the line that says, "I've got a boyfriend now and he's made of gold. I'm hoping he could save me, but now you break and fold. You've got a fire inside and your heart's so cold."
Ooh, yeah.
Chilling.
It's a good Halsey song.
Most
Yeah.
Halsey songs are.
It's true.
I really like Halsey. I have
Mhm.
rediscovered them, and
They're so good.
yeah, their songs are great.
August, how about you?
My pick for this episode is Dearly Departed by Shaky Graves. Also kind of it has a sort of a haunted sort of sound. I think it works for the sort of like betrayal arc that Cass and Dean are experiencing quite well. The chorus goes, "You and I both know the house is haunted. You and I both know the ghost is me." Like it's such a good, I highly recommend it just as a song. It's a kind of a bop, and like the harmonies on it. One of the reasons I really love this song is the harmonies, particularly in the chorus. Like, oh, they send like shivers down my spine. They're so delicious. Yeah. And lyrically, I think it works really well for this episode. So yeah, Dearly Departed, Shaky Grave.
Yeah.
Love that.
Gonna have to give that one a listen right after we finish.
Yeah. I just looked it up.
It's been on my Supernatural playlist for a long time. It's on my it's on a couple of my Supernatural playlists, I think.
The pick I had to go with for this episode, and I've had this on my list to use for a moment whenever Castiel breaks Dean's heart when Dean has given him his faith again and again and again. And this feels like a great opportunity. So I'm picking Find Someone by Arizona, specifically a couple of lyrics. The chorus goes, "We got to tear it all down, set it on fire, watch it burn to the ground. Kills us just a little, but a little's all right. It ain't forever. You'll find someone who loves you better."
Ooh.
But specifically in the second verse of the song, he says, "Picking wings off of angels has always been my religion."
Ooh, that's a one hell of a line.
Damn.
That's a hell of a line.
Okay.
It's a
Nice pick.
fantastic song. If you haven't heard it, please do. Find Someone, Arizona. Fantastic time.
Love that.
Elena, bring us home.
Yes. So my pick was Black Hole by Griff. It's got that kind of also like little haunted quality that we've been going for a lot of these songs. But again, lyrics are just very much giving from different like some of them are more Cass, some of them are more Dean. But like the chorus of the song is actually no. Before the chorus, there was a bit that specifically made me think of Dean, and it's "And boy, you know I've tried to pray. I've bruised my knees. I've tried to bring you back to me. I've tried my best to find some kind of peace." And so given their little love and spat that's happening at the moment, that felt very applicable. But then the chorus kind of makes me think more about Cass and how he's been feeling like really lost and pulled away from everything. Because the line is just, there's a big black hole where my heart used to be. And I've tried to fill it up best with things I don't need. And that just, yeah.
No major spoilers here, but maybe we revisit that song in 1518.
I'm going to need you to leave me alone, Noah, because I didn't ask to be dragged like this.
Oh, I mean, I think we could probably revisit any of the songs in this episode in 1518 with great effect, just great fun effect for our emotional state.
Because we love paying attention to our emotional states. Didn't y'all listen to the intro? Yeah, it's all good.
Oh boy. So now that we've got our mixtape playing, it is time for this week's hunt. Today we are pulling up to season 6, episode 22, The Man Who Knew Too Much. And as it's the season finale this week, we are looking through the age-old, the classic theme of free will. They do not good stuff with it this time.
This is a big representation of free will used in a negative sense.
Well, and I mean,
as a length of rope.
Yeah. The idea that like free will means that you're not being controlled, but that also means you get to make decisions and you have to live with and like free will meaning that you have to live with the consequences of your decisions, which is kind of what happens.
Very much so. Very, very much so.
Can we start at the beginning of this episode though? And can we start by talking about Sam?
Absolutely, yes.
Cool. Because I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff with Sam. Like, despite the fact that it turns out that he doesn't affect the actual plot a whole lot, like what's happening, the story is kind of happening to him.
The only thing he does is give you like the stakes at the end there. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah,
the stakes at the
I swear, please stay. It's okay. The jokes will get better. I'm sorry, listen.
I'll see myself out.
They won't get better. They'll be about that same level. Okay, but Sam running from the cops and figuring out his own way to figuring out who he is again, that was great to see. And we love Sam being a little detective and an amnesiac detective where he's still got his instincts and his skills, but he doesn't quite know where they fit. It was his born identity moment, and we stand that.
And shows like the kind of like skills that Sam has that even without his memory,
the context of them,
he's able to put together so many of those clues and figure out. He does not take him actually all that long to figure out what's going on.
Surprisingly so. And it feels believable and not just like rushed for TV time, you know? Like it all tracks with stuff we've seen from him before.
Yeah, it didn't feel out of the question.
Progression feels earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Robin is not somebody we've seen before, right?
No.
Like they saved her identity reveal for when he regains his memories later on.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because that was something that happened when he was soulless.
Yeah, and it's not
so we didn't see that. Yeah, not soulless. We saw.
It was interesting that
Pre-Dean.
Pre-Dean, yeah.
I think.
It was interesting to see that the H.P. Lovecraft book is what started him on flashbacks because they just went to the past and met Lovecraft, and it's somewhat worth mentioning that when Sam starts getting flashes, he mentions that Dean is a male model, right? A male model type. But Robin is like, well, maybe you were a hooker, which is like a really undercutting way of being like, well, you are sexy as hell. So like,
just like, what if you don't remember because like it's so funny and silly and goofy and why?
And his expression right afterwards is what really sells it, where he's like not mad at it. He's like, oh my God, thank you.
But I'm a little
I don't think that's it.
Maybe.
Like, are you flirting with me once I get my memory back?
I guess I should ask for money. I don't know. It's very ambivalent, his expression there. I did love that.
Although I will say, Noah, well, that's kind of it for this character. You will see this actress again.
Ooh.
Yes, I was.
Oh, I was wondering.
Yes, I was like debating whether or not to say that or not. But yeah.
Okay. But not as this character.
No.
Interesting.
Well, this character is dead. This character in their reality is dead.
But she was dead before this episode, so like she came back for this episode.
But she came back in Sam's mind. She's fully in Sam's mind.
come back.
So she
She's
comes
not
back in the
actually-
real world as a different character,
Yes,
Yes.
the actor is back.
as Robin's sister.
Okay, we're not gonna. We literally are not going to tell
You're
you
the
anything
person
else
that murdered
beyond
my
that.
sister in cold blood. I
We were
was
just
there.
saying that Supernatural reuses its actors a lot.
Okay. The CW in general, yeah. We see you, budget cutters. Okay. Immediately after we got the whole multiple identities thing, and my first thought was there's no way that Cass did this to him, but it really feels like Cass did this to him.
So you were saying you were in a little bit of denial for the
I
first
was
part
in
of this
denial,
episode?
but it was my first instinct, and my brain was like, no, there's no way. And then I was like, well, maybe. And I didn't like that feeling. And then it only took like 5 minutes to get to the revelation that, yeah, Cass did that. He
The end of
fucked him up.
the end of the previous episode,
Yeah, it was bad. And it hurt because I love Castiel, Angel of the Lord, so much.
Yeah, he's
But that's like that's the tip. It's like the tipping point. I think it's always what I've seen as the tipping point of Cass's like arc in this
How
season.
low
Is like
could he stoop?
when he chooses to break Sam's wall to stop them. You're like, oh,
And it's
he's
not
not
just to
going to be
stop
stopped.
them, it's to stop Dean because he
Yes, very
knows that it will completely unravel Dean to his
Well, Bobby
basic
even
instinct.
says that.
Yep, he says
To
that.
Dean.
Bobby
to his
sees
face.
exactly, and I think Dean
Bobby
knows it
exactly
as well.
what's happening.
I think Dean knows it too. But he is, even though he knows that that's what Cass did it, why Cass did it, he's still like unable to.
he's in disbelief that he would.
Yeah.
Mhm. There's the two things going on. There's both the like horror of like Sam, the wall's been broken, and who knows if Sam will survive it, and there's the double horror of this like betrayal by Cass.
Yep.
And he's like dealing with the grief of both of those things.
At the same time, just fucking speaking of dealing with traumas of a similar type from two different directions, Bobby loses Ellie in this episode because
Mhm.
Ellie got taken by Cass last episode and tortured off screen, thank God. And well, thank God that it was off screen, not that she got tortured. Let me clarify.
Well,
I think
interesting.
we're with you on that one.
I wonder if that's partly like Cass's actions already are pretty
Atrocious.
and they do keep a little bit of it off screen to sort of, I think, kind of preserve, like, we as the audience, we really love Cass, and we've loved Cass for a long time, and we have to feel the weight of his like actions, of his choices, but also watching him on screen torture another character that we are quite like. I think one might have, they're trying to, I think, walk that line of like us not turning on Cass fully, like us still, because again, the previous like 620 was trying to get us into like, why is Cass doing this, and what are the good reasons Cass has for these decisions that he's making.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to make sure that we can still remember some of those reasons that Cass has, even though we are appalled by his behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I wonder if that's why we don't see that.
I think that's a pretty solid reason as for that explanation. But Bobby losing two partners in the course of like 4 or 5 episodes, like,
Bobby's having a rough
that's
time.
crushing. Oh my God.
And he still keeps it.
And he's holding it together. Like he's there for Dean. He's like,
Mhm.
you know, I know that like Sam's wall's broken and we don't know what's going on in his head right now, but like we got to keep going on. There's other things we have to do right now. Like he's
Well, and I love
pulling it together.
the point that he makes of like, you know, that this is what Sam would want us to do.
And he says it in such a gentle way. And his facial expression the whole time is not like judgmental. It's not like upset. It's just care in his eyes. And he's trying to reach to Dean. It's like, well, hey, worst case scenario, you know that your brother would want us to do this. And he wouldn't want us to be held back by him going through his trials that he's doing right now.
Yeah.
We can't help him, obviously.
Well, and it doesn't matter if we help him if we don't stop
The bigger bad.
them. If we don't stop them from cracking up in purgatory, like what happens with Sam is sort of inconsequential if we don't stop this other thing that's happening.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think Bobby like really holds himself in the fight with that sort of knowledge, and holds Dean in it as well by going like, we have to prioritize this first. And like, we can hope that Sam wakes up, and we can try and wake him up afterwards.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's unspoken there, like, if we survive. Like, if we make it to afterwards.
We managed to stop this crazy monstrosity.
And then Cass shows up. Well, okay, this is back in the flashback with Ellie. that Sam is having. And Cass shows up, and the whole time that he's trying to convince them to stop and trust him and like, hey, I got this under control. I know what I'm doing. No big deal. The entire time, he's only looking at Dean. Sam and Bobby are flanking Dean, but Cass only has eyes for Dean. He's like, I'm convincing you.
Yeah, Cass very clearly knows that like this sort of betrayal starts and ends with Dean.
Yeah.
Like it isn't really about it. Like it is about the others. Like he's close to them as well, but the person who his choices are directly betraying.
Yeah.
And the person, partly because Dean is the one who has like in this season stuck out his neck to be like, no, we have to give Cass a chance.
Yeah.
We have to trust Cass. We have to give Cass an opportunity to prove his loyalty.
Sam and Bobby were already doubting him a
They've
few
been
episodes
suspicious
ago.
for a while.
Yeah. So he knows that the person that has held out faith in him this whole time has been his boyfriend, and now he's stabbing him in the back.
Yeah.
Rough. Feels are brutal this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Speaking of, once we go back into Sam's mind a little bit, he then claims Baby as his car. Which, okay, sir. That is
I mean,
Dean.
it's sort of his home in the same
is
sense
his
that
home,
it is,
but
but
I'm
it's
a
not
little
his car in the
disappointed.
same.
But it is not his car.
I'm a little
No.
disappointed he didn't instinctually walk to the passenger side door. You know, like that would have been.
Oh, that would have
this
been
is
actually
mine,
so
That would have been good.
right?
That
Such a
would have
good
been a nice
detail.
touch.
It would have been
Such a
really
good detail of like him remembering without remembering.
Yeah, and then like, oh, I guess I was opening this for Robin. Like, I don't like. He could have like followed that along with like a. I don't know what this was about. Was this that?
And and then sort of shake it off as a
Yeah.
weird like I don't know what my brain is doing.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
they immediately get
And
shot at by another version of Sam. It busts out the driver, the passenger side window, right? Then cut to a minute later when they take off in the car, and both of their hair look perfectly fine. Like there isn't a busted
Dream
open window
sequence.
this whole time. Like what?
Dream
Sir,
sequence.
think about it for a second, please. Oh.
I love the also it felt like a callback of the like, it was night and now it's a day.
Okay.
Oh my
Yesterday was
God.
Tuesday, and
I
today's
laughed
Tuesday
so
too.
hard at that.
It's such a memeable it's like one that shows up in like crack videos all the time.
Absolutely. I literally had a friend send me that GIF like 2 days ago, maybe a week ago. We were hanging out and it was like way too late into the night, and I was like leaving the hangout as the sun was rising, and I was like, okay, sun's rising, and they sent me that GIF, and I was like,
Oh my god, that's
really
hilarious.
familiar. And then it was like
That's
two
really
episodes
good.
later, I was like, oh shit, there it is.
Night.
There it is.
There it is.
Shout out Lauren, I got you. It happened. Okay, but wait till you meet the other one once he defeats Soulless Sam.
How ominous was that?
Ooh,
Ooh.
but going back like slightly earlier when Robin says, like when Robin almost leaves and then says, honestly, I'm dying to know how it all turns out. It's like
Oh.
a fascinating wall break. Like feels like a very meta fourth wall break sort of thing, especially
Mm.
when we know that she's a figment of Sam's like
Yeah.
brain,
Who has been dead?
who wants to know,
Right.
is dying to know how it all turns out. Like it also kind of stands in for the audience who kind of are like, we're also dying to know how this all turns. It's just,
Yeah.
I've always loved that line a lot.
Very good.
No, that's very good.
Yeah.
For a half second, I thought that Robin might have been the other one. Like that Robin was
Oh.
the other person, and like an
Ooh.
aspect of Sam's personality that took up the place of the
That would be
victims. And then he got back to the car and was like, yeah, I know who you are. Sorry. Like I fucked up. That wasn't me really, but it was me.
Yeah.
And that was
Mhm.
ruthless to watch. Like
Yeah.
flashback of
Yeah.
Soulless Sam
Yeah.
taking down a victim just to take a shot at now you have no leverage. Like,
Yeah.
okay, wow.
A reminder of just how like batshit,
Fucking awful Soulless Sam was.
how
Yeah.
without his moral compass, like
Yeah.
I mean, which again maybe kind of comes back to the theme, like free will without a moral compass, like is really fucking bad.
Yeah,
Like,
if you just
know?
want to achieve the mission that you're on, like, and you don't care about the cost, then it's not the best turnout. You
Yeah.
need, you need
Yeah.
that compass there to keep you grounded. And it's been a while since we've had Soulless Sam in the flesh, and so I think it was very jarring to have him now after like
Mhm.
8-7 episodes of Sam back
Yeah.
to Sam. Like, oof.
Yeah.
funny a
Yeah.
little sprinkling of Soulless Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which props again to Jared. He did great.
Oh, Yeah, Jared's acting is.
Jared does deserve some props for this. The multiple Sams that he plays.
They all feel different. It's very
And
good.
it's not hard, like even because like Sam doesn't know fully what's going on, but once there's more than one Sam, can kind of go, oh, okay. Like we can tell the difference between these versions of him kind of before he kind of figures out what it is.
Especially once one of them doesn't use his eyebrows at all and just has them down, like he's glowering the whole time, and the other one is like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like what?" It's like,
like using his eyebrows like quite an extra lot.
Yeah. It was very good.
I want to hear, Noah, like how you feel about like this episode as a whole and like how it compares to your predictions or expectations for this season finale. When you first watched this, you texted us in the middle of watching it, freaking it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we didn't get to record for 2 days because of some like circumstances. And so like I want to hear you can bring that energy of your initial watch to
this is skipping ahead a little bit, but like I was so fucking frustrated by the ending. This was such a brutal cliffhanger to leave us on, where Cass achieves godhood, kills Raphael, and then says, "Kneel down to me, your new lord." Like, roll credits.
End
Fuck.
Yeah.
I did wait. I was fast forwarding to the end of the credits. Hopefully, there's some little tease of like something. Nope. This isn't a Marvel movie. This is
nothing. That's it.
We will have to start season. We'll let you watch season 7, first episode of season 7, real quick. We promise.
Okay, good.
No
Good.
long mid-season, in between seasons.
That was the first time I had to wait.
That's rough.
Yeah, I watched that finale and then was like, "I'm sorry, excuse me," and had to wait several months.
That's the one thing I'm glad about with this show is that I don't have to wait for season hiatuses. Like that's fine. I have to wait a week.
Some of those hiatuses were brutal.
I believe that absolutely. Was this the worst one?
We can't again
so far.
Are we allowed to answer that? I don't think we're allowed to answer that question.
Sometimes listeners, I ask a question and if they fight back, like I can't answer that, then I throw on so far, like it wasn't me asking about the future. Anyway, so far out of the 6 season finales we've gotten, is this one the one that hit you guys the worst?
No. Season 2 is worse.
Okay, wait, season 1 was the car crash, 3. Right?
Season 2 and season 3 are both worse than this one.
I was thinking season 3.
Season 2 is like Sam's dying and the demon deal and all that. Season 3 is Dean's death.
Yeah.
Those are the two that I think are
he goes to hell.
Most.
Yeah, fair.
Though season 4
they start the apocalypse.
Though I think season 4, like if again, when I watched season 4, like season 5 was already out, so I didn't like I literally,
went right on to the next.
I'm pretty sure I watched them back to back because I wasn't waiting. So like if I had to wait, that cliffhanger might have been worse. But I think season 2 and 3 ones are both.
Season 3 is the one that birthed the term hiatus because Dean was in hell.
That one's fair.
I think that one is probably the we had the least idea what was going to happen.
I think that one didn't hold as much for me personally because I knew Dean was coming back because there's 12 more seasons after that. Like it was rough and it hurt to see him there, but
when I watched it the first time, I had no idea. I was like,
me neither. I mean, I found out very quickly, but it was still.
And season 3 is what turned me into a Dean girly.
Really?
Yes.
On the head of a pin.
I see. For me, it was like season 1, episode 2. Like got like when he's like eating the like peanut M&Ms at the trailhead. I was like, oh no, I'm in too deep.
Which episode was it where he said my boobs?
The first one.
Season 1. That's the
first
pilot.
Episode? Okay, yeah, that was when I was a Dean boy. I said, that's my guy.
Basically,
I like him.
Immediately.
That was the thing. It wasn't like I disliked Dean at any point.
Right.
Because if you did, you'd probably get kicked off this podcast.
Also, you probably wouldn't have watched the show through 3 seasons.
Yeah, no. It was the finale of season 2 and all of season 3 that made me be like, oh, so Dean is just I'm Dean and Dean is me and we are all Dean.
Sorry, Sam.
What?
No, it's just sorry. You're named Sam, so like I thought you'd have some kinship to Sam, but
I do.
Okay,
Sam is my favorite.
Okay,
it's fine. It's fine. I can hold up the Sam team on my own.
I believe in you. You and we'll bring KJ in for the episodes where you need help, where he's being.
Yeah, there you go.
we support it. Okay, Balthazar comes back in this episode, and he helps the brothers out a lot. He gives them Cass and Crowley's location, right? And then refuses to zap them there because he's hesitant to show all of his cards.
Mm-hmm.
And then cut to 5-10 minutes later when Balthazar is summoned by Cass, and he starts giving him information and answering his questions. And you can see, and Misha Collins, he's so good at the micro expressions for Castiel. Like, he does the little eye shiftiness and the slight eyebrow raise and the So like that whole time that he was talking to Balthazar, I knew
something's going on.
I knew that Cass knew that something was up with Balthazar, and I was the anxiety.
You see it in the little acting choices Misha's doing. Like it's
so good.
Like there is a shift that Misha's done in his acting as Cass has shifted from like to the darker side.
But it doesn't come up in his voice. Like his voice sounds the same, but his facial expressions are like slightly different. And he's like, okay, I know what's happening here. But he says the stuff that lets Balthazar feel comfortable in that moment.
Oh yeah, he's in Cass is 100% in control.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he knows it.
The whole time, the anxiety bubbling up in my chest was that Balthazar was about to die, and I was so
your spidey
mad
sense
about
was
it.
Correct.
And I hated how right it was. And then he got just plumb executed, and that hurt. That's the second super charismatic angel that has a distinct love for the boys, in spite of what his heaven instincts are telling him, that has been butchered because of them, to help them. Gabriel, you'll live on at some point. Like I love you.
Pattern here.
I my heart says that Balthazar does come back at some point, but I don't have proof of that. Like I don't know. This is the first time I really don't know. From my Tumblr days, I know that Gabriel comes back at some point. I know that.
But you don't know about
Balthazar. And with the amount of cons that Sebastian Roche has showed up to, I'm gotta imagine that it's not just this one season that brought him back for all those cons, but like it could be. It really could be.
Darn, if only you had people who could reveal that information to you.
If only there were maybe 3 people in this chat right now who could reveal that.
They were not the people that they are.
Anyway.
Only they weren't doing it for the bit.
Hey, if anyone wants to start a podcast with people that don't hate me in my professional field. No, I'm just kidding. Love you guys. You're better.
Don't you dare leave us now.
I would never. If anything, I'll start more podcasts with y'all.
Yeah, I'm like, it seems to be going the opposite direction of.
Yeah. It's fine.
Can we talk about Cass and Crowley?
Yes, please.
Yes.
That dynamic is so interesting.
Which, if you had to give them a title in that dynamic, which one would you say is the top? And which one?
Well, we have an answer in this episode.
Yes, we do.
You know who Crowley thinks it is.
That's the thing I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, Crowley really is. I think Crowley is so interesting because he does it like he manages to turn like he's played and then he manages to flip it.
Mm-hmm. Or so he thinks.
And that's what's like interesting about it is like Crowley is so in control until suddenly he isn't. And it's sort of, again, one of those like flip moments with Cass where you go, oh, Cass has already planned for this. Cass already knew this was going to happen.
He planned.
I mean, Crowley is so predictable as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's not that hard for Cass to have planned and known what was going to happen.
Oh no, Crowley's going to try to double cross me.
Which is wild because you could assume that Crowley hints at the thought of Cass double crossing him. And so that's why he's worked out what his best option is. And that's why he doesn't go to the brothers. Because my first instinct would have been like, oh, well, let me go team up with the people that you love and that I think could have a chance at moving you back from this edge. Instead, he goes to Raphael and is like, well, let's work together because that Dean guy, he's not going to work with me no matter what.
I do love the little mocking flee or die.
Okay, both times. Yeah.
Yes.
When Cass
says it, it's like, damn. But then when
you realize he's won, you realize it's Cass, and it's Cass learning too. Like Cass of like season 4 would never have like needed an exit line. You know, he never would have needed a I won line. He would have just done the thing. He would have just won, and then he would just
Right.
walk away.
But then he got this boyfriend who likes to have dramatic little one-liners and sing.
Yeah.
Right. And he's
Look,
picked up this attitude.
Mhm.
yeah, and he's learned from Dean, and he's learned from Crowley, and he's learned from all the other humans that like he doesn't just want to like win; he's going to show off a little.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's very gay of him,
Mhm.
and it's very wonderful.
Very much so. But then when Crowley spins it back on him and he does the impression of Cass, like, flee or
Oh, that
die.
was
Like,
so good.
that was so funny. Oh, Crowley's just a
Yeah.
silly little
Why
guy.
Crowley is an icon.
He is in so many different ways.
And very and he's not dead
He's not
because
dead.
Cass has plans for him.
Yep. Castiel said, I'll let him escape. Raphael? Okay, wait. That's a big moment when Raphael tries to escape. And Cass is like, oh, what's that? Sorry, did someone clip your wings? Like, what's up?
Which the ability to take away. Okay, so like just the amount of power that Cass immediately has.
It's scary.
Terrifying.
I
Yeah.
feel like that moment where he's like, oh, someone clip your wings. Like that was one of the moments where I was like, oh shit, Cass is terrifying.
My
Yeah.
eyes were bugged. I was like, whoa, my God.
And then, like, the way that Dean tries to talk to him, it hurts.
Mm-hmm. There has been such a shift
Yes.
in
Like, he knows he has to tread lightly, but he's also, like, so desperate to make an appeal to try and save him. It's
Yeah.
rough.
That's him holding on to the last bits of faith that he has in Castiel at this point.
And I think it's
It all
really
comes
interesting.
back.
He comes to this, like, he sort of has this, like, hesitant sort of way of talking to Cass. Like, he's both afraid of Cass and a little afraid for Cass. You know,
Yeah.
even when he says, he's like, you got this, like, power in you, like, it's going to destroy you. He's sort of trying, like, he's still kind of trying to protect Cass in this, which is such interesting, like, that's his angle, is, like, it's totally different than the way he talked to Cass even just a few episodes ago when he was really trying to appeal to the humanity in Cass, and now it's not that. Now it's just like, I gotta walk on eggshells. I gotta like, it's very interesting.
Yeah. Hurts to watch in so many different ways.
We were family once. I would have died for you. Almost did a few times.
And then Cass's response, you're just saying that because I won, because you're afraid. You're not my family. I have no family. Fuck!
And then Sam stabs him in the back.
Okay.
God.
Literally, you couldn't ask for a better metaphor.
Like, Sam waits till Dean is like, till they're done having this, till Cass has said this. Like, you can't tell me that Sam is not there waiting for the correct moment. Like, he's
absolutely.
Like, Sam waits for this conversation
Also,
to happen.
like, Sam just fully willing to, like, murder his brother's boyfriend.
After he says that shit, okay, yeah. I believe it.
I think it's sort of the idea that like Cass might be too far gone. I think that's where Sam's coming from.
Yeah.
And also considering like Cass just broke Sam's wall. I don't know. Sam feels kind of justified.
And Sam knows that, right? He saw that in flashbacks that Cass was the one that did this to him. So
he realizes Cass is like, she's like, okay,
he's like, okay, this is too far.
My opinion of this scene is that Dean didn't see Sam sneaking up on Cass. He was so focused on Cass, and then the shock that he has after Sam reveals himself is genuine and feels real.
Right. He doesn't know Sam's there. He doesn't know Sam's about to.
He can't see anyone but Cass.
Exactly.
In that moment.
But the entire time that Dean is talking to Cass, Bobby's facial expressions are so crushed for Dean, for Cass, for the both of them. But whenever Sam stabs him, Bobby is not shocked at all.
Oh, so Bobby, you think Bobby?
Right. Bobby saw Sam waiting.
Bobby saw it the whole
Cass.
time and was giving him the eyes, like, not yet, not yet. And then, like, his eyes got wide whenever Cass said that shit and was like, okay, go to town. Like
I think that we've
the
crossed
ship
the
has left
threshold.
this stage. Yeah, like this is too much for him. But the first part where Bobby is just like not to talk about Bobby too much on main, but that's the only thing I do in this podcast. So that's where we're at.
You have a brand.
His whole expression is it's just destroyed for Dean because he picks up on the red flags that Cass is throwing up, and Dean is still fighting back and like, wait, we're family. We were family. Like, it's
Dean's
okay.
still trying to appeal to him, and I think Bobby knows. As soon as Cass like opened the door and took in all those souls, it was too late.
And popped Raphael. Like, okay, yeah, like, hey,
Cass
buddy,
is not getting talked off this ledge.
this isn't the same Cass. Like, this is a different.
I mean, he literally
version.
says, "I'm not an angel anymore."
But he says that after the angel blade does nothing to him. Does nothing. Fuck!
Yeah, which is currently like that's the most powerful weapon that we've seen is a weapon that can kill an angel.
Yeah.
Because the angels are the most powerful creatures that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he doesn't even flint when it goes in. Like he doesn't even.
It's
move,
sort of a mirror
doesn't
to
blink.
like his first scene where Dean stabs him.
With the knife.
Right.
I was going to say that, but he stabs him in the front.
That's in the front, and it feels worse to be stabbed in the back.
And that one is proving, and like that moment is a moment where Cass like lets him because he's like, I need to prove to you that I'm not here to hurt you, and also that you can't kill me. Whereas this moment is totally
like, haha, you can't kill me.
I also feel like Cass knew that Sam was sneaking up on him too. Like that whole time.
Yeah.
With this godhood power, he knew that. But he
also
let it
knew
happen.
that like it's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, maybe y'all
I'm
need
gonna keep
this
talking until
to prove
decides
that
to stab
I'm
me.
different, and I don't mean to hurt you, but you also can't kill me. So it's that same vibe from 401, but with a lot less innocence.
Yeah.
Yes, because now he knows what it's like to be a little closer to human. He knows what it's like to work with them. He knows what it's like to care about them.
Yep.
And so now it's not just them trying to stop a powerful being. It's them taking a swing at someone who's like become family to them. I mean, I think that makes like one of the last lines in this episode really interesting is because Cass says, you know, like you have to bow down and profess your love. And I think it's so interesting that they say love, not allegiance, not obedience, like
not loyalty, not
usually the idea of like a god is that you profess your like allegiance or your obedience
or
to
faith.
them.
Like,
Or your faith. He's not asking for faith or obedience or allegiance or loyalty. He's saying profess your love.
That's got to be a dig at Dean and his like feelings for Dean. Like
I had never made that connection, and I feel totally normal about it.
I think it's like Cass has his wires so crossed. Like Cass's time with humans has crossed his sort of wires about like what love is and also what like power is. I think he now is like, oh, now I have all this power, but I still have this love. So like what I want is still what he wants is not like what an actual god would want. He wants love.
When he was an angel, he was conditioned to believe in God and follow God's instructions and do whatever they wanted because that was what was told of him.
Yeah, that's what you're designed for.
Yeah. And then he met somebody that he truly cared for and loved in a different way. And then he wanted, not was conditioned to, but wanted to do everything that Dean said and like help him out.
Comes in.
His free will led him to that realization. And then once he has the power and the free will to make those decisions for himself, and then he becomes powerful enough to become the god, his whole perspective is all cross-wired. And he's like, he doesn't know the difference between obedience and love. And
he doesn't. And they're
fucking hurts.
And now they're so cross in his brain that that's what he demands as a new god. He's like, I don't know how to get it any other way. I don't know how to get your love any other way. So I'm going to demand it. And you know, I don't think he's not able to comprehend that you can't demand love.
Because God did demand the love from the angels, right? Like that's their whole thing is
and love and obedience are sort of like the same thing.
For angels. Yeah, exactly.
But that's not
that he's relating to humans in the same way, but it doesn't work out for humans in that way.
And he's relating to humans, specifically Sam and Dean, who were raised by a parent who also associated obedience and love.
Oh shit!
Like it all comes. John, we're gonna come back to John Winchester again. Season 6 finale. I don't know. Like you can, like he's asking that. He's linking those things to two people who have spent most of their adult life trying to get away from the idea of like
obedience equals love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Specifically Dean particularly.
Yeah. Sam got away from it a little bit earlier than Dean did.
Dean struggled with that a lot and still struggles with that in his memory of his father. And so like
such a good take. Such a good take.
It makes me feel so insane. Just the idea, like Cass's arc, sort of the way it matches up with what's happening for Dean and Sam is so like Cass as developing as from angel to angel who cares about humans to angel who cares about humans but also cares about angel politics to like, oh, angel who now is willing to sacrifice humans that he cares about for angel politics. Like we've come a long way.
It's quite a journey he goes on.
And now he's achieved godhood. it. And how are we supposed to feel about that?
All that power. Dean says, all that power swimming around.
He says, like, you're holding a nuke and we've got to release that some way. And Cass is like, what are you talking about? I got this. No big deal.
He literally says, got to diffuse you.
This was a good episode. And it was, I would love for us to finish this episode, record the award ceremony, and just get to the next episode as fast as possible.
Get into season 7. Answer some of those questions that I'm sure, Noah, that you have. Some questions.
God. What's your prediction?
Prediction. Yeah, I'm like, we're not going to do an official predictions episode for season 7, but like, what are your predictions based on this?
Wait, I want to know, what are your predictions? And then what do you want to happen if it's different from your prediction?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as predictions, I have...
Predictions. Give us your predictions.
For season 7, episode 1. Well, maybe season 7 in general. I don't know. Cass has obviously started on his evil godhood arc, right? So the divorce arc it's happening, right? Like, this is it. It's like we're in the throes of it. I say that, but August made a face during this call, and it makes me think that maybe this is just the evil arc and not the divorce arc. Maybe there's a further divorce arc. I don't like that.
We don't know what you're talking about. Please
my God! Didn't help, Elena. Didn't help.
Just say nothing. Say nothing. Nothing is the correct response.
Look away from the camera, please. Cover everything. All your eyes. It's fine. August turned off their camera. That's perfect. Okay, thank you, August. Okay.
If I can't make faces, then I don't have to hide my faces.
That's perfect. Okay. Okay, so season 7, I think this is Castiel's evil arc. He and Dean are going to be at odds a lot this whole season, and I think that it's going to be really fucking hard for Dean, mostly. And Cass is going to mostly stay aloof and above it because he's attained godhood, and he's on a different level from you mortals, and even the mortal angels, because angels are mortal when compared to God. Like, fuck. Part of me hopes that God shows up at some point during the next season, even though I know the Chuck reveal isn't coming for a long way. Spoilers, oops. But God brought Castiel back at the end of season 5, right? So, like, he's out there somewhere. So, like, maybe he has something to say about what Cass is doing during this season, and like can make some judgments here and there. Maybe he's the one that brings Gabriel back. I really, really need, and I say this because a friend of mine, same friend who sent me that GIF, sorry Lauren, putting you on blast now, confirmed that this is the final season for my main man and my guy that I really love. And I'm not going to even say it because we all know my favorite character on this show, and I need him to play such a big role in his boys' lives, and I need him to impart some big points of wisdom and some big lessons for them to learn. Maybe he's the one who comes to Dean and is like, hey, your boyfriend's off the fucking rails. I need you to like...
If that is the what I wouldn't give for that to be a real scene. If that's the first and only F-bomb they drop in this.
Oh my God.
Bobby
I would love that. That would be so good. Like,
we were robbed by not having that.
Have I told you about Swear Natural?
No.
The account? Okay, there's this account, and I'll send you some samples of it because you can't just look at the whole account because it has spoilers. But there's this Twitter account that's called Swear Natural, and its description is #supernatural, but with a lot of fucking swearing. And basically, they just take quotes and then just add expletives into them.
The rightful expletives that should have been there.
The expletive that you would expect. Like there's let me find one that
is appropriate.
Is from
I'm your new fucking god now. Like, what?
Oh yeah. I think it's things like that. Like there's one when Dean in season 3, the episode with Bella, where Dean the episode with Bella, the episode with the Lucky Foot, where Dean like throws the gun and throws the pen and it gets stuck in the gun.
Yeah. I'm fucking Batman.
It's the holy shit. Did you see that shot? That's the guy. Anyway, this account is amazing. I will send you some.
So good.
Oh, or like the producers from French Mistake, and the Bobby Singer character is like, right when Jared and Jensen, Sam and Dean are like just fucking up the lines and looking like the worst actors on the planet. And the producers, one of them says, "What's happening?" And the other one says, "A fucking atrocity is happening." It's a beautiful, wonderful account. If you've seen all of Supernatural, please go follow them, or just scroll through if you're not on Twitter. It's amazing.
One of them.
I love this one of Cass where it says, "What fucking part of I don't know escapes your understanding?"
when they're in jail, Sam being like, I mean, maybe you haven't noticed, we're in fucking jail. Just,
Good shit. Fuck. Okay.
Anyway, that's what I think of whenever someone wants to add, when someone wants to just change a line just enough to add the real swear word into it.
Paraphrasing, we are using the ghost facers effect and
Yeah,
we're removing the
exactly.
bleeps. Like that's
Just
all we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which if you want to hear bleeps, go listen to the episode of Chirping Coast to Coast that came out a few weeks ago at this point, where I cameoed on episode 5.
Mhm.
Episode 5. And there's a really funny part where I add in a bleep, but it's the hockey sound. It's the hockey buzzer.
It's so good. It's so good.
It was a good move. It worked out really well. Go check it out. Chirping Coast to Coast, starring August and KJ of Supernatural Opinions.
And Noah occasionally.
Yeah.
Noah, I would like you to know that there is also one of Rufus saying, "It's officially none of your goddamn business, man."
Also, Zachariah saying, "Lucifer may be strong, but I'm fucking petty."
Yes. That works. That works in a very big way. I love that.
Also, Sam in the episode when after Dean's died like 100 times in Mystery Spot, Sam being like, "So yeah, I'm a little fucking grumpy."
Yeah.
I love this account in with my entire whole heart.
It's so wholesome in a great way. As far as predictions go, I think that's like most of my predictions that I'm feeling at this point.
Well, we feel a total normal way about them.
Okay,
Totally
yeah.
normal way.
Yeah, we'll continue to ask you as we like go through.
Because we've really only got 4 characters to like make predictions about, and I feel like wink wink Bobby's gonna die this season. I feel like wink wink Cass is gonna be evil for a lot of this season. I feel like Dean is gonna be hurt by that, and I feel like Sam is gonna do his best to try to help Dean through that, but also make the moves that he would do or he feels like Bobby would have done. So I didn't like that sentence that I just said there, and I didn't like that. That Bobby would do, not in the past tense.
Okay.
I want Gabriel to come back. That's another thing. I want God to bring Gabriel back.
Do you know what the next episode is called?
Oh yeah, let's tell you that.
Oh yeah, let's hit that. What's that?
May I reveal?
I think so.
Do it.
It's called Meet the New Boss.
Okay, so.
And it is going to pick up exactly where this one leaves off, which is fun.
That's good.
Yeah, the exact same Uber close-up.
My instinct is saying that the boys and Bobby
back in town.
Well, okay, my first instinct is saying that the boys will kneel to Cass because this is the most dangerous creature that they've ever met in their entire lives, and now they know the stakes of it and what's happening here. So I think that
we
Sam
know that Dean will kneel for him.
Dean would have knelt for him in season 4, episode 1.
It would have been a different kind of.
Not just one knee down, but both knees down and the neck.
We don't need to. I think you can let subtext speak for itself a little bit.
If we've learned anything from the CW Supernatural, subtext can't always speak for itself.
I don't think any of you would have seen this, and because none of you are on the right side of Twitter for this.
I saw
Noah,
it.
You're not supposed to.
I'm not on Twitter at all.
I saw it.
You did? No, of course Noah's the only one who saw this. Jensen, someone at a con like last week or like a few days ago, like they were talking about a Dean and Cass interaction in the show, and someone yelled out subtext, and Jensen was like, "It's not subtext, just canon." Anyway, it's fine.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice moment. Not gonna lie, it was him being like, "No, it's not subtext. It's just there in the text." Okay, Jensen Ackles.
We see you.
Well, that's like a couple weeks ago. I saw this not because of Twitter, but because of Tumblr. What we were just talking about. If you could add a curse word anywhere in Supernatural, where would you add it? And someone asked that to Misha.
Such a good question.
Wait, did he say I fucking love you?
No, he said,
okay.
He said, I fucked you hard and raised you from perdition.
Wow.
Look it up.
I missed that one. How did I miss that one?
I don't know, because it was all over my.
I'm sure it was just a day that my feed was full of hockey stuff, probably.
Yeah, which is every other day, basically.
Yeah.
It was. I meant to post about it in Discord, but I was too busy just scrolling and liking every single post that I saw regarding it on Tumblr.
Totally fair. Oh my gosh.
Incredible.
Yeah, like what a time to be alive.
What a time.
What a time.
As we wrap things up now, it is time for one of our favorite sections. We're going to do our character blessings and characters to watch. Who would like to kick us off for this week?
I feel like I always choose Sam, but I kind of want to choose Sam.
You're allowed to.
Valid.
You're allowed to.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's really gone through it and is just continuing to have to like face what he did when he was soulless, and it's rough. And yeah, I hope that he is able to heal, and whatever the fuck is happening with his wall being gone now is
Yeah.
going into season 7. Hope he's okay.
He's got so much unloaded on him now.
I know.
And it's not hidden behind a wall.
Nope.
He's managed to kill all of the other versions of him inside his head, but like
Right. There's a lot of shit he's gonna have to sort through.
Yeah. I feel like that's one thing we didn't quite talk about during the hunt is him taking down the version of him who remembers hell.
Oh yeah.
That was a big move
God.
and a big moment for him to accept the cost of that and
And
still
take
do
his
it
agency
anyway.
back a little bit
Yeah.
too. You know,
Because
when
he
so
cared
much
about
of
his brother and he wants to protect him. Like,
Mhm.
and this is what the cost is? Fuck it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big move for him.
Yeah. What about you, August? Who do you want to bless?
Noah seems like he's about to say something, so I don't let him
Oh.
go first.
Go ahead, Noah.
I was just hoping you wouldn't say Bobby because I'm blessing Bobby this week.
I'm not taking, I'm not, like you said, like, you know, if Bobby's time is limited, I'm not taking Bobby blessings from you at any point.
Good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I am gonna bless Dean. Because he spends this whole season trying to trust people in the midst of like betrayals. From episode 1, finding out that Sam has been alive for a whole year and Bobby didn't tell him. Through like everything with Dean and Lisa, him trying to make that work. Through trying to trust Cass even when all of the evidence started to stack up against him. Trying to work with and trust Sam when Sam was soulless. Like he spent a lot of time this season sort of fighting his instincts for self-preservation in order to give the people around him a shot. And it's all kind of gone to shit in this episode. It's all just gone really bad. And I want to bless him in the aftermath of that, and in the aftermath of like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Like, you know, what do you do when you've sort of put your faith in something and it's just let you down? What do you do next? A blessing for that experience and that feeling.
Yeah, we respect that in so many different ways. Well, okay, obviously, I'm going to bless Bobby because I feel like this whole episode, he was trying his best to be there for his son and his other son who was in a coma that he couldn't do nothing about, but he was trying to keep both of their heads on the job, on what they could change. And I respect him to death. And I hope that he sticks to his guns and tries his best to make the right decision as best as he could. And I love him for that. And I can't wait to see next episode.
Well done.
Yeah.
I was initially going to do Cass, because, oh boy, but he needs to deal with some consequences of his own actions for a minute. And I'm going to use my blessing time for 2 other people. I'd like to bless Elle and Robin, because
Yes.
as much as I do love Eric Kripke, he couldn't go out without killing off 2 more women for no point at all.
Did Kripke write this episode?
He did. This is his last
Fuck.
episode that he is the writer on.
Of course.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And I was just like, and he's gotten better as a writer, but he wasn't at this point in terms of his representation.
You say that because of The Boys, but like The Boys is not the best representation of women or their rights or their decency in the situation.
No, it's not. But
Also
it's
producing on The Boy. I don't know that he's right.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he obviously is he still writing episodes as well?
I'm
I can't remember.
pretty sure.
I mean, he deserves blame either way because
Regardless,
you
yeah.
have more power. So, like, you know,
at least we have a couple queer people that get to live in the
That
voice.
is true. That is true.
So it's like he's gotten better, but he still has a lot of misogyny and daddy issues that he needs to process with a therapist. And Elle and Robin, both I think were kind of tragic figures of this episode who, like, you know, had to die for the furtherment of the man pain. And like, it's season 6, guys. Come on.
is
So I would like to bless them. But
They
also,
deserve that.
yeah, bless Cass because he's about to go through.
Whoa. You can bless 2 people. You can't bless 3 people, especially
That's
if
where the
one of
line
them
is.
is so evil and like turns his back on
Whoa. You can't. Whoa. Whoa, we can say a lot of things about Cass this episode. Evil's going a bit far.
Whoa. You're the
Praised,
person who
maybe.
put villain arc in the
No,
title.
but you can be a villain. You can have a villain arc without being like evil.
Whoa. Okay, so
He's-
listeners at
because
home,
it's,
just so you know, August originally put evil arc and then deleted it and put villain arc.
It's because Noah put a rhyme that didn't sound good. What did you say?
I said dark arc.
You said dark arc, and I was like, no, I don't want to hear that. In those, I don't want to hear those words next to each other. So I put evil, and then I was like, evil's not right.
Not make brain go brr.
Again,
Hey,
also,
guys.
evil arc does not mean the character is evil. It's an adjective describing the arc, not describing the person. Sorry, I care about this a lot, apparently.
But
Don't you dare call Cass evil.
I would argue that as they go through their evil arc, they are evil for that point in time, not for their whole character.
Okay. Well, let's give Cass
This is semantics.
more than an episode to determine
You're right,
whether
you're
or not evil is the right
You're
word.
right. Let's see how this next season goes.
Reserve our judgment.
Everybody loves this next season, right, August?
This season, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about season 7. I feel like I feel about season 7 the way I feel about like plain oatmeal with like no flavors in it. Of it's there, I'll eat it.
When you say no flavors, like not even any brown sugar?
Yeah. No, actually maybe that's not true. Plain oatmeal with some like cinnamon in it. There's no like sweetness to pull it out, but there's a little bit of something in it. It's got something, but it's like missing something as well. And I'm not sure, maybe I'll feel differently once we rewatch it. But like season 6, it's like you'll get some bites where you're like, oh, there's a flavor. Or it's like oatmeal where it hasn't been stirred together. So you have some bites where you're like, oh, this is sweet and delicious. And some bites where you're like, I changed this metaphor too many times midway through for it to make sense.
No, I'm sorry. It was just a bad metaphor to choose because I just love oatmeal so much that like it's all good.
I don't love oatmeal that much unless
hate
it's
oatmeal
like,
that's plain.
unless you added a lot of shit to it. I don't like oatmeal that much.
For me, season 7 is like you were trying to make Rice Krispie treats and you accidentally put 2 cups of salt instead of 2 cups of sugar.
Don't think that it's that bad. I think that's saying it's horrible.
Yeah,
that's
not
horrible.
It's like you were trying to make edible Rice Krispie treats, like wink, wink edibles, and then you forgot to put the actual edible bit in there, so it just turned out as Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah.
And if you haven't guessed, I think
feelings
as
about
good as you
season
wanted it to
if
be.
you haven't guessed, I think Elena, this is your least favorite season.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't even take me more than a couple seconds to think on that one.
August is season 9, right?
Okay, so season 9 is the season that makes me the angriest. I'm not even sure it's my least favorite. It's the season that made me the angriest when I first watched it, and I reserve the right to season 9.
Bloodlines is in that season, right?
Yeah.
That's the only, I know the episode title. I don't know anything about it.
Get
But
behind me, Noah.
I just know that's the episode.
I feel like season 7 is got some good ones and got some like
it does.
very
It has
forgettable
some
stuff.
really good episodes.
I feel like when it's forgettable, it's quite forgettable, and when it's good, it's quite good. But that's like sort of true of every season.
Yeah, it's got. And now that being said, season 7 has the introduction of my favorite writer in the show's history and my favorite side character.
Also, it has the introduction of like 2, maybe 3 of my favorite side characters are introduced in season 7. At least 2. I'm trying to remember, the third one is actually introduced in this season.
Okay.
It introduces at least 2 of my favorite side characters all time.
Is this Charlie's season?
We're not going to answer that, Noah.
Hey, Sam.
There's so many characters in this show.
I am actively not looking at you, Noah.
Hey, Sam, look at the camera real quick. Hey, Sam. Sam, please.
Sam, turn your camera off.
Sam, I think the fact that you're looking away so aggressively means yes, it is.
I actually, honestly, don't remember. I'm not the one to ask.
Well, that seems like as good a point as any to wrap us up for today.
Wrap this baby out.
So thank you all for joining us for season 6.
What was that voice? Was that your Crowley imitating
French
Cass?
mistake when he's just sitting there and he's like, season 6.
6 seasons in a movie.
Ew.
If you are new here, you can subscribe to this show, Saving People Queering Things, wherever you listen to podcasts. We would love if you rate, review the show on your platform of choice, share our show with a friend. And if you want to find us other places on social media, you can join our Discord server or find all of that social media information on our website, which is queeringthingspodcast.com.
Also out now, we've got Queering People Saving Throws. It's our main Queering Things crew, along with KJ of Supernatural Opinions. second, we take a little dive into a queer D&D adventure in a mysterious valley where everything's not quite right and there's a bird that sometimes people eat. And you know what? We just move on right past it.
Did we really need a Bob the Bird reference today?
Yes, we did. It releases every other Friday.
You're losing the ability to hurt me with these references because of how often they come.
And see,
Yeah.
that's all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to
Same.
normalize it for Avery. Like all he needs to do is realize that it's not that wrong of him. It was just a thing that he
not
did.
always.
Murdered.
That does not feel like.
Whoa. He
What
acted
do you
on
mean?
instinct. It wasn't a murder. It was him trying to survive the best way he knew how. And I'll defend him for that. And I'll also
That
make him
it's
feel
not
bad
a
about
murder.
it.
Two things
Time I
can be
can.
the same.
Now that we've thoroughly
Things can be
confused
true at
all of you.
If you don't know what we're talking about, please go check out
Go
Queer People
listen.
Saving Throws, QPST. It releases every other Friday right here on our feed.
Be sure to ride along with us next week as we dive into the lovely arena of the season 6 awards ceremony.
And I really hope you guys are bringing your punching gloves, like your, they don't call them punching gloves,
Your
boxing
boxing
gloves,
gloves?
your boxing gloves. And
No,
this is
you're
gonna be
the
a
sports
fight.
person in this chat.
I'm not the boxing. My country doesn't have a Boxing Day celebration, so like,
Not that kind of boxing.
That's not that kind of boxing.
you know what?
Yeah.
It still stands. Anyway, it's gonna be an all-out brawl to see who gets the awards this season. It's gonna be brutal. Make sure to tune in, guys, because I'm gonna win. I feel it.
Oh, we'll see about that. We'll see about
Yeah,
that.
we'll see about that. I'm coming to play.
Oh,
Ooh.
aggro.
Thank you all for coming along for the ride, and we wish you a peaceful road until we meet again.
Season 6.
Yeah.
Season 7.